I'm rolling. Are you rolling?
Yeah.
You're rolling. Okay. Let's go ahead and do our clap sync. So, ready
Wait,
when you
I don't
are.
remember how to do it.
I'm
Wait.
gonna. We did this once before. I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then clap 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you just have to do it in time with me. And then I'm gonna remember what the delay was because we're on the internet, and then sync up the tracks in post. Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's do this. We're gonna do this first try. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome, fellow internet travelers, to Up, Up, and Away, the official podcast of the Too Slow Squadron. I'm here with my buddy Red Rabbit. What's up, Red?
Hi.
That,
Hello.
dude, I felt like I was really setting you up there. Like,
Setting me.
yeah, I was
Was
like,
I supposed to take the reins?
yeah. So like, you do the thing where like you set someone up with a softball, and then what you're supposed to do is just take a huge swing at it and just crush it. So
Crush it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're not did you play baseball growing up? You're probably not
Uh,
much of
as a child, yeah.
okay. Was
I
it like
did.
a rec league?
It was like my friend's dad.
Oh, okay.
We
So
would go to the baseball pitch and face other friends' dads.
I love this. I love this. So, okay, so you would go and face other. Does that mean you'd have like official games with like bases and like it
Yeah,
would
we'd
get
like go to
competitive?
the park and we'd play. And we won a lot. We were pretty good.
You're pretty
Not
good.
gonna lie.
So
Yeah.
father son teams, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, how did you do base runners? Because like you would hit. Would you do ghost runners?
What's a ghost runner?
Okay, so you didn't do ghost runners. So like what we would do is when we were like playing backyard wiffle ball, and there's like it was me versus a friend, and there were only two of us. Well, obviously one person has to be the pitcher, and the other person has to be the batter. So my friend would just pitch to me, and then I would swing and hit the ball sometimes, uh, and then run, and then I would just stop at a base because I'm like, well, if I go any farther, I'll get out, and then. And then I would just say there's a ghost runner on second or something if I
Oh.
got a double. And
Oh
then I would
no.
leave and then go back and then I would hit the ball again and the ghost runner would just run. Or if I accidentally hit the ball to third, I could say, oh, but the ghost runner didn't run because I was just running to first.
So
And
you're
it's
just
not a
making it
force
up
out. Yeah,
as
yeah.
you're going. Ah, yeah. We had like a whole team.
Oh, wow. Okay. Like how many
It was like
people?
I don't know, like 14 maybe. I don't know. It was
Oh,
like
that's awesome.
you were just like you signed up and then you got to go play games and
Okay.
it was awful because like as a kid you're like, oh, I want to just play outside, and then your parents are like, oh, you have baseball practice. So
I totally remember that. Yeah. I was on a rec league as well. But that's what we called it at least. It sounds like what you're describing. Did
that's
you guys
probably what
get
it was.
Did you guys get uniforms?
Yeah, we got
Okay.
like shirts.
Yeah. Did you get to name your own team?
No, we just took the names of like actual baseball teams.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, we did that. We kind of did that as well. Eventually, well, you get high enough up, and that's what they start doing. Tell me, Red, what position did you play?
I was outfield most of
Okay.
the time. I just stood there and like I just like stood there and picked grass. I like sat down a lot because it was just like I'd get really bored because like you're a bunch of little kids, so nobody ever actually hit it to the outfield. So like there's no reason to have an outfield. So I just sit there, and I remember one time I was just like standing there with like my glove up, and the ball just like landed in my glove, and I just looked at it, and they were like, "Wow, you just won us the game," and I was like, I was just picking flowers.
That is amazing. Okay, I could totally relate because I too would get put in the outfield from time to time. Like they would rotate everyone through, uh, and I did the exact same thing. I would pick grass, and then like eventually you'd hear like the clink of a metal bat hitting the ball, and you look up and then be like, oh, there's a ball flying through the air. That was when I was like really little, and then I got older, and so like how you like talk to your friends and you're like, so you played rec baseball too. Well, what position do you play? I was a pitcher.
Yeah.
Like everyone's a pitcher, right?
Yeah.
Or a catcher. Like that's just what everyone says. Well, I was actually a pitcher. For like basically it was me and another guy for a couple seasons, and we'd rotate. I'd take like we'd change on and off. We'd like take half the game and stuff. I also caught a bit too, which was kind of scary because kids, especially like middle schoolers or late elementary schoolers, tend to not hold on to the bats after they swing, and they take like a big cut, and then the bat just goes flying, and then so on more than one occasion, wearing a catcher's mask saved my already ugly mug, but
yeah, of course, yeah.
It's one of those things. Rec baseball is great. I think this was a great intro. I think that just talking about baseball. Thank you for humoring me, and you crushed it. You did the thing. So
is this off the record?
No. I think we keep this. Well,
I mean, this little chat right here, is this off the record?
Oh no, I don't know. This is like the thing. Okay, turning over the cards is. So the first time I ever edited a podcast was episode 001 of Up and Away, and that's last episode, and I wanted to sound more official than I really was. I'm sorry, I won't do that again. But
yeah, episode 001, and what episode are we on now? 002.
I know. I just realized how dumb that sounded. No, but trying to figure out what was on the record and off the record, and like finding good stopping and starting places, that it was surprisingly difficult. So I wound up listening to a 40-minute podcast for like probably 5 or 6 times over. So several hours of my life have now been devoted to a podcast that, well, to be honest, we got about 30 more views than I thought we'd get, so that was good. Thank you to all of you who listened to the podcast for the first episode. That actually meant a lot. I wasn't expecting that kind of like turnout, which is really cool. Dude, people listen to us, Red. Isn't that scary?
Woohoo!
I know. It's really weird. I feel weird now. No, I think all this stays, and because a little bit behind the scenes into
my
podcast
the podcast I did with I was with Elmer and a few other friends, and that one, when I did the editing in quotes, it was me like quickly listening through it and just cutting out like all of the really, really awful bits that were like
cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Cringeworthy or just like super inappropriate for like the internet. But they've since been erased from the internet, probably.
Has since been erased. I need to go find your old podcast. I bet you it's still out there somewhere. Did you upload it to YouTube? Where do you upload it?
Blogspot.
Okay, gotcha. I'm gonna have to go look for that.
We made like blog posts and we were like, sorry, no podcast this week to like our 2 viewers.
But hey, the thing is, you had 2 viewers, and those are 2 people that decided to take part of their life and invest it in you and your other friends' lives, which is really cool when you think about it. Because like if you think of every relationship, there's kind of like that give and take. Like you invest into them and they invest time into you, right? And that's what makes relationships go. But over the internet, it's like you kind of have like it's like you go shopping on who you want to spend time listening to, and so time is a limited resource, and so people who decide to listen to this kind of thing, that's pretty cool. It's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what to do with my hands when I talk about this kind of thing.
You just hit stuff on your desk. That's what I do.
That's okay. So we're going. Reality check. Are you hitting things on your desk right now? So am I going to have to cut out a bunch of?
No, no, I'm not. I'm like trying to not touch anything on my desk so that I don't make any extra noises. I'm sitting here as still as I possibly can.
I'm doing the same. It's really funny.
I just picked up. I have just like a pile of like bolts and screws that I've picked up over the days, or it was more of like a few months. And I've just been like, I picked up the bolt and I was like, no, I need to put that down. I'm gonna end up hitting it on the desk.
Are these bolts that made it out of your job?
It might be. I've also
Okay.
found them on like the ground. I did my wash, and somebody's like earbuds got destroyed in the wash, so I took the little magnet bits inside, the actual like speaker bit.
Okay, gotcha.
I have a wing nut.
Ooh,
I have
nice.
I have a piece of rock that's all glossy and has like a tiny bit of metal in it. I'm not sure what that is.
Interesting.
And I got some quarters. But yeah, I was gonna build like a little robot and take over the school, but haven't gotten around to it.
So you said that when you were editing your other podcast, it was just you like going through and cutting out all the parts that were like inappropriate, which is like something that I wanted to discuss, having done one episode that was actually, we can consider this podcast so far family friendly, because neither of us cursed at all or made any
Yeah, I was
type
on my
of
best behavior.
well, and that's something I just wanted to ask you, having gone through one episode. Are we okay with like shooting for a family friendly podcast in that? And here would be my reasoning for doing so is like, you know, it's really easy to just, you know, curse whenever you aren't sure what to say, but like
Yeah.
not cursing forces you to use more vocabulary. And
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
okay. I just wonder, I'm fine with that too. I think it would make for a more interesting podcast. But it's something that I wanted to like kind of say, well, maybe we should set some ground rules. Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I think that would be really cool. Yeah, the other thing that I think we were alluding to, but maybe we never quite got there is when I went back and listened to last episode to edit, there was a ton of background noise just between both of our tracks. So I probably spent an hour and a half just going through and like highlighting areas that just had random noise where no one was actually talking and and silencing it. And so hopefully what we're trying to do, well, what you said and what I am also trying to do awkwardly is not do anything with our hands to create a bunch of unwanted noise. So hopefully that will make for a higher quality podcast. You're welcome, listeners. And also an easier job for me in editing because I don't have a whole lot of time between setting up for I'm moving to Pittsburgh in about a month now. And so there's a lot to do there. And I work 9 to 3, Monday through Thursday. So, and also, you know, got to play that Squadron realistic battles. So
Oh yeah.
time gets taken up really easily. So hopefully things will go smoother this time around. But, you know, you live and learn. I think as far as I would love to hear feedback actually from the listeners on like what we could be doing better or and that's actually really scary because we're opening up that can of worms to the internet. But I don't know. I thought last episode was pretty good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed listening to it. So
I liked that there was the War Thunder gameplay.
yes, yeah.
There was the one where I rammed the
Yak
Yak
7?
or something.
Yeah, it's like a prop airplane and you're in an F9, F8. And then you just absolutely ram him and take him out.
I shot
It was
him down
amazing.
and then his body was there and I just didn't know what to do, so I just hit it.
It's so frustrating. I do the same thing where like I'll get greedy, and especially in the games where my guns spark a lot, and that happens with the T-160s and the F2 Saber from time to time. And it's like, oh, I want to, it's at the end of the game. It's the last guy. I just want to get the kill. And the guns just keep sparking. And so I just keep guns on target and you wind up hitting them. It's like, well, should have just made another pass. But, you know, live and learn. I think the gameplay was cool as well.
Yeah. We need to get some tank gameplay too.
Yes, we should do that. I don't think it'll happen for this episode, but at some point we're going to need to do some tier 6 gameplay with the M1 Abrams, which...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we're not going to sound like idiots over the internet now because we speculated correctly. That deserves an internet fist bump.
I speculated as soon as the Challenger came out.
Yes, you did.
I was ready, and everyone doubted me. I'd like to thank myself
Yourself.
for,
Yeah.
believing in Gaijin.
Be- believing in the snail.
Believing in the snail, yeah.
That they are actually too slow.
I woke up and I saw that post and I was just like, oh yeah, I knew it. And it wasn't the stupid XM one or it's not the M1A one, but they did confirm that for a future update.
For a future devblog, which I look forward to.
Yeah. Has the 105 and
this is something that I want to talk about. So we segued really well there. But one of the things that we're still waiting to see is what kind of rounds we're going to get for the Abrams. I've seen it speculated that it's going to just be a tier 6 jumbo where it has great armor in the front, weak armor in the side, and a gun that kind of penetrates. What do you think?
It all goes down to the rounds it's going to get. I've done a lot of reading after people in the squad were telling me it was going to have 303 millimeters of pen, and I was like, what are you talking about? Because the M60 has the same gun and has 360 millimeters of pen. There are rounds that can, if it gets depleted uranium, it's going to be golden, but I doubt they're going to do that. There's one round.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I think we're about to say the same thing. Go ahead.
There's one round that I was reading about on the internet. I don't think I bookmarked it, but it was it had
it the M833, I think? Is that what it is? The partial depleted uranium? Is that a thing? I thought I read about that.
Oh, I was reading about the M900 APF SDS-T. At 4,000 meters, it does 650 millimeters of pen.
Dude, the scopes only go out to 2,800 in War Thunder.
Yeah.
And that must be I've heard it's a super flat trajectory. That is that for the 105 or for the 120?
105.
Oh, so okay, yeah. To
That's
get that much pen at that distance, it's gonna be it's gonna be just a solid block that barely goes down from the horizontal axis of the scope. There's not gonna be lines. It's crazy, but
the thing is, it really depends on the rounds that they give it, because the gun it's not really based around the gun. It's based around the round.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I don't know. I'm hopeful. I don't really if I don't get a based in fact argument from someone and it's just, oh, this tank's going to be better than this one because it has a 120. That doesn't really I just don't really entertain that kind of argument because it's not that, I don't know. Yeah. It bothers me if I get told I'm wrong and then they don't have anything to back it up.
I mean, that's just the nature of speculation. Everyone kind of has their preconceived notions, and we really don't know anything until the dev server comes out.
And I'm hoping the dev server starts Monday or Tuesday, but I've heard it might start Thursday. So,
which that means that by the time this podcast gets released, it could be Monday or Tuesday, which means the dev server may already be out, rendering part of this discussion useless. But we'll try to keep it relevant. I am super excited for the dev server. One thing that I'm nervous is that the M1 Abrams is going to come after the M60 Rise. And
yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, I kind of went down. So in the U.S. tank tree in War Thunder, they have light tanks, medium tanks, heavy tanks, and tank destroyers. And there's a SPAA line too. I went down the tank destroyer line, the heavy tank line, and the light tank line. And that's how I got my required vehicles for the MBT-70. I don't have any United States medium tanks past the 4.7 Sherman. So if the M1 Abrams gets released, connected to that connected arrow following the M60 Rise, I have a very long grind ahead of me, which I'm not looking forward to. Yeah. Fortunately,
but you can always boost.
Well, that, and I bought a talisman for my M103.
Oh yeah, I saw your post or your comment on Reddit. I upvoted your comment where you said that you seconded somebody saying talisman.
You saw that? Oh,
Yeah.
wow, you upvoted. Thank you.
I've just
feel
been
weird
going
now.
through Reddit reading stuff about the Abrams.
Yep. So that's really it's really funny. There's not many people who I actually know their Reddit username, but knowing yours, it's really funny because I'm like, hey, it's supposed to be anonymous, but I know that guy. Anyway,
Yeah.
well, thanks for the upvote. I'll look for something of yours to upvote here in the future. Return the favor. Got to get that Reddit karma, man.
Yeah.
Have you noticed? Okay, we're totally off the rails here, but have you noticed how defensive people get over fake internet points?
On Reddit?
Yeah.
Or just in general?
Yeah, people are willing to beat a dead horse or bring out old content and repost just to get fake internet points that don't mean anything. It's really strange. I don't know.
Someone posted a picture to the War Thunder Reddit that's just a picture of bread. And it says bread. I don't know what that...
Did it get removed?
No, it's just there. I don't really know. The War Thunder Reddit, I was really hoping they would ban having memes there.
Did you vote in the poll?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I voted for no memes because I'd rather get like tips and tricks and how to play the game better and like how vehicles perform rather than like 15 reposts of the same exact picture.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you there. I tried to post a meme once on the War Thunder subreddit. Do you remember when user Thugstug started the, you've heard of Elf on a Shelf, now get ready for Stug on a Rug? Do you remember? And then that ignited just a whole... I don't know how to describe it other than, daisy chain of related posts. I'm just trying to think of one. Well, the one I came up with was, you've heard of Elf on a Shelf. Now get ready for Sturmer Emil on a banana peel. And I photoshopped the banana peel underneath the Sturmer Emil.
Yikes.
And, as far as memes go, I just missed the boat. I'm going to blame it on that and not for my lack of creativity. And I posted it at a time where people were just starting to get tired of that kind of stuff. And so I got hit with the downvotes. And I'm like, well, clearly people don't want to see this, so I'll just delete it. And so I deleted it. And, it's okay. Live and learn. I thought it was one of those things where I was like, oh, man, what? Stug on a rug. And it's like just thinking of other related ones. I'm like, Sturmer a meal on a banana peel. And I thought of that and it just didn't leave my head. And so I no joke, I literally downloaded GIMP, which is like the free Photoshop editing software, onto my Mac. I didn't have it before. I downloaded it just so I could make the thing a reality. And I learned it. And I don't know. It's weird, dude. An idea got in my head and wouldn't leave until I made a physical thing of it. I still have it on my computer. I don't think we'll put it into the episode because it's pretty bad. I'm not good with Photoshop. I can edit sound and movies and stuff, but nope, can't edit photos. People who can do that, they're wizards, man. It's some sort of black magic.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, back to the Abrams.
Yeah, let's get back. We took a big segue there. This is gonna be complicated show notes.
Yeah.
Back to the Abrams.
Even if it is a jumbo at top tier or whatever, I'm just excited to drive an Abrams around in the game.
Amen, brother.
That just is having a squad of 4 Abrams or something would just be the coolest thing ever.
Absolutely.
Of course, that'll be all 4 people who ever get it.
I'm going right for it, man. I got nothing.
Probably going to be
$2
million.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be expensive.
Silver Lions. And that's what I was trying to do today, was grind Silver Lions so that I'd be ready for the Abrams, because I might just boost it.
Hey, Red.
Yeah?
Do you know what grinds Silver Lions really, really, really well?
What?
The F2 Saber.
I would have to grind 2 mil to get 3 mil to get the A5 and the F2, and then I would have to fly the stupid F2 just to get the money back so I could play the M1 Abrams.
Yeah, I know. I just want to fly. I want to fly the F86 F2 with you, dude. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'll get there eventually. It's okay. I don't know. I've been trying to relearn the MiG. I learned it when I was doing my montage, and then I stopped, and I lost how to fly the gun, use the guns. The other day in SRB, when we were doing pretty poorly, I fought a guy in their MiG, and was just doing rolling scissors or whatever, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember watching that. That was a really cool. That was a really cool dogfight. I think we won the game too, or something.
I don't
No,
think we
maybe we
did.
did it. I think you just got the
We
kill and Jade out.
I definitely just stayed in the game so I could kill him.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very you've got like good dogfighting skills because that was really fun to watch.
Yeah, I just miss the
Um,
guns all the time, which is unfortunate.
yeah, as long
'Cause you
as
kind
long
of
as
need
you're
those.
maneuvering right, like the guns will come. The guns will come.
Yeah. I yeah. I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna hold off on it because I didn't. Well, I'll just say it now because I
Too late
realized the
now,
guns
buddy.
were on the left side of the MiG.
Yes, they're a little offset, which is weird.
Yeah.
Um, that's one thing I like about the sabers is it's just like, you know, two on each side, right?
Mhm.
And then I set like 500 meters convergence because I do a lot of snapshots. Kind of like I just try. What my method is, I set up an approach like I'm gonna ram them, and very last second I lag behind and hit the guns, and so like I just kind of aim for just like to the left or right of the fuselage, and it normally
Yeah.
takes them out. But anyway, but like 500 meters convergence works well for that. Anyway, back to the Abrams again. I agree with you that even if it's a jumbo, the jumbos still do pretty well, right? Like as long as I can bounce rounds from the front, I can work with that. I can I'll flank, I'll get side shots. I'm used to like playing T-34-85s, and it's hard to penetrate front plates of jumbos, but you get around to a side,
Yeah.
and you know it's a super nice and
One thing
easy kill.
I'm thinking is that I think it's gonna be the Abrams is gonna be a really good all rounder kind of tank. Like it'll have like a bit of armor. Well, should have a lot of armor, but
Yeah.
knowing Gaijin,
Well,
a bit of armor, a bit like an okay gun, and really good maneuverability. Like 45 forward miles per hour and 25 in reverse, which is
yeah,
very
absolutely.
fast.
Super fast.
Then the Leo is going to be a good gun and really good speed, but it's going to have like zero armor.
I agree.
And I don't know, the Challenger just 30, like from my experience with seeing not Conqueror, the Chieftains and my M60,
Yeah.
both of them lack speed, and at top tier, speed is like, I think they're trying to make a switch from speed to more armor at top tier, but I think right now it's going to be like a mix of needing speed and needing armor.
Yep.
And so, like,
Yep.
the Challenger is going to have armor and a gun, but not the speed it needs to, like, flank heavily or get to the battlefield. So it'll often be in, like, frontward facing engagements like I am in my M60.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Tell me this: what do you think the stock round for the Abrams is going to be? Do you think we're going to get APFSDS stock?
If they give it the APDS that the M60 has stock, I'm quitting the game. That's 320 millimeters of pen, and it's not very good.
No. Well, apparently they're reworking
Yeah.
APDS, which maybe will mean that it'll have more damage. But
That'd be
one
nice.
thing I noticed is so they're modeling blowout panels, right? Where if the powder charges where the propellant that expands in the barrel and propels the round forward, if that gets set off, it'll just cook off and not kill your crew. But then they said if you have heat or HESH in the tank, which basically confirmed that the tank will have heat and HESH rounds, then the explosives, right, the shape charges, if those cook off, then you're still going to die, which makes sense because the propellant for or the powder charges for propelling a round out of a barrel, it's not supposed to be a high explosive. It's not supposed to have a shockwave. It's supposed to conflagrate. It's supposed to burn, quote, slowly, unquote, which is still really fast, but slowly enough that you don't blow the breech up or blow the barrel up, and it is just a nice smooth acceleration for the round as it leaves the barrel. That said, what if I just take all APFSDS in my M1 Abrams and there's no HESH or heat shape charge to detonate? Does that mean that I'm going to survive 10 out of 10 ammo racks?
I'm not sure, but edgelord in the Squadron who drives Abrams.
He's a loader, right?
Yeah, he posted a picture a really long time ago of him with his crew, and they were holding rounds, and they're full rounds, like not separate powder bags.
Right.
So I'm wondering if you take full like non like APDS, APFSDS or whatever.
Yeah.
It would probably be better, yeah.
Probably.
I was watching a large YouTuber's video, and he brought that up as well.
I agree. Yeah, I think that I part of it, I can't wait for the dev server because
do you have it installed?
I don't. I need to learn how to do that. I'll probably ask you after we drop the mics.
Yeah, but... it's pretty much. I can, since even if people listen and make it this far in, they might want to know.
Oh yeah.
I can just say it here, and then afterwards I can actually tell you as well. But it's pretty much you just go to the site. No, I don't actually remember. I just googled War Thunder dev server. It brings you to a link. You download it and you install it just like you would in War Thunder. And then it'll just be a separate directory to War Thunder and as a separate launcher, and you just launch it like. I don't know if you launched War Thunder through Steam, but it's like its own thing on the desktop. So for clarification, it will not be through your Steam. No, it will Steam not. Loader. Okay. And occasionally it will just like open an update, and that's kind of scary. But
oh wow, interesting. That is helpful. I suppose. So I try to do show notes in each. Mm-hmm. I did it in the previous episode where like, timestamps to what we talked about, so people can like. It's kind of like a table of contents. I suppose that below that, we can post a link to the dev server for people who are interested. Now, if you play on a Mac, you are severely out of luck, as one would say, because I don't believe that there is a dev server for the Macintosh users.
I used to play in Mac.
Yeah, I did as well, and then I built a gaming PC. I know. It's nice not to have to play on ultra low quality graphics, and actually enjoy the game for what it is.
Yeah, you get to see it. And then the new Dagor engine. I can't wait for Mud and Puddles.
Mud and Puddles. Did you see that they like changed how they're doing atmospheric shading? Like even on ultra low quality, it looks like tanks are going to stand out a little less.
Yeah, and also I'm hoping that it has puddles, but I'm hoping they're dynamic.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So if you're on a raining
if it starts raining and they kind of start filling up.
Yeah, filling up like holes and stuff, that'd be cool, but it might just be the same we can test that even, but...
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
and then
you could totally do that in a custom
terrain deformation. I saw one where the tank was driving and like every little bump was causing the suspension to like react to it, which was cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah, they put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, for a free-to-play game, it is super pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of physics in that for a free-to-play game. I think that we have filled the checkbox of talking about War Thunder. What do you think? Should we move on to just a life topic?
Sure.
So Red, you've been busy this past week. You have a campus job. Tell us about that.
I work at my school for the theater department, and I build sets for the shows they do. And it takes up a lot of time.
Yeah. I can hear your voice.
You're like a student, and then you also have to go and like work, which like I could be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, but it's also like the only time I really leave my dorm other than classes. So, because there isn't a lot to do here, and I don't have a car to go. There's a tank museum really nearby that I want to go to, but I don't have a car. So, anyways, yeah, we've been working on Into the Woods for like the past, I don't know even how long this semester's been, like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, since the start of the semester. And then we just had tech week, and I was staying up till like 3 every night.
Can confirm.
And the problem was I was also like, oh, I didn't play War Thunder today. I need to play like 5 minutes, and I would play like 3 matches and then go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I would stay up doing homework, which also wasn't very fun.
We missed you. How many people are on your team?
For my tech thing?
Yeah. How many people do you work with?
I think it's like 9 or 10.
Okay, gotcha. Are they nice people or like?
Yeah, they're generally pretty nice. There's some unneeded drama in the shop occasionally that's like you could relate it to like high school drama, and it's like, wow, I thought we were adults, and there's just like childish bickering and stuff. But other than that,
yeah, you can't get that anywhere though. There's always one in the crowd that likes drama, but
yeah,
it's okay. Yeah. So here's the $1 million question, and feel free to dive into this as much as you'd like. Do you like your job?
I mean, yeah, it's fun. I get paid some money to do something I enjoy. There are times that I'm like, why am I here? But that's like just because this show is like way more stressful than all the other shows I've ever done.
Gotcha.
Other than like my one person show, but I could talk about that later at some other podcast. But
that's another podcast episode. Yeah.
This show was like, we were a week behind up until last Thursday, and last Thursday was opening night.
Whoa! So you had to catch up a lot.
We finished the set Thursday, and then we tore it down today.
Wow!
So
that's amazing.
And today's Sunday, so like that was a lot of work. And then when the show actually happened, I had like 5 cues that I had to actually do, so I would just like sit there and sleep. So.
That makes sense. Did you have to like set an alarm to like, oh, I have to go move this prop now?
Nah.
No, you just kind of woke up?
Yeah, I would just wake up, look at the show, be like, oh, my cue's coming up.
That's funny. Yeah, that's so. It at least you got to see a show. Like probably other people had to pay money for that, and you got to see it for free.
Yeah, I got to see it from the side because I was in the fly rail. But... yeah.
Minor detail, right?
Yeah.
Now the fly rail, does that mean you're up in the sky, like you're up in the air?
Or yeah, I was like 20 feet up, maybe. I don't know. I don't know distance very well. That's why I use miles in War Thunder.
Gotcha.
War Thunder.
So, how many miles up were you?
No, but I think it was like 20 feet, and then the grid, which is like where you can go all the way to the roof of the theater, is like 60 feet up, maybe.
Oh, not bad. So people can do the math at home and figure out how many miles that is.
All right. But yeah, it's really high up. I'm not a fan of heights that much. The worst part is you go up a spiral staircase that when you're going down, you're higher up than the railing.
Oh, so you can like fall over, or at least you can imagine yourself falling out.
Yeah.
Scary.
I mean, a normal sized human would fall. I'm far from that.
Okay.
I'm like 5'8", maybe. I don't actually know my height.
You don't know? That's okay.
No.
Hey, that's still within the average, I think, for males.
It took out a lot of energy doing this show.
Yeah.
But I have a week. You
sounded really run down and tired whenever I interacted with you on Discord this week.
Yeah. I have a week of school, and then I have spring break, and I'm going to the beach, so that'll be fun. Nice, relaxing trip to North Carolina.
Much well deserved. I think that is very well deserved.
The beach is gonna be cold, so I'm probably just gonna like stare at the sand or something.
Yeah.
I do enjoy my job. That's the answer to the question. But
we finally got around to
that. It can take a lot out of me.
Sure.
I did my my first all-nighter last semester, and it was so off. I had to do a project for my tech class for theater, and I stayed up. I always had a lot of delays starting the project, so I was like, oh god, I have to stay up and actually do this. So I was I got into the shop at 7 the night before,
Okay.
And then I just worked all night long on my project, and then it was like 7 the next day, and I heard people starting to enter the theater, like the building with all the art stuff. I was like, well, I'm gonna get out of here before like the professor comes and he's like talks to me, because I'm really tired and I don't want to talk to him.
I don't want to say something stupid because you're tired.
Yeah. So I hid my project, which, by the way, did not end up being the best thing ever, but that's okay, because no, it didn't. But he noticed the effort that I put into it with the time I had. He said if I had more time, I probably could have like done better. But
Sure.
Then I walked back to my dorm, but I'd been standing for 12 hours or something. I don't know how math works, but I've been standing for a really long time. Sure. And my feet were like in a ton of pain, and I almost just like slept on the like campus, just like in the middle of the campus. But then I got back to my dorm and just collapsed on the floor and just laid there for 15 minutes.
Can I tell you a story? You've reminded me of a story from my college
Yes,
days.
A story.
Okay, so I went to Ohio University for 2 years, and my second year there, we would do this thing where on weekends we'd go play euchre. I don't know. Do you play euchre? Do you know what it is?
What the heck is euchre?
Euchre. You don't know what euchre is? It's a card game where you use basically the cards 9 through ace. Of all the suits, and it's a 4-person game, and it's a game of strategy and figuring out who has what based on what's already on the table, and then there's like some unknowns involved. Kind of hard to explain. Really fun game to play. But so it just takes some thinking. But there were a group of us that, like, 7 or 8, we'd all take turns playing. So we were up late one night playing euchre, probably 1 or 2 in the morning on a weekend. And we look outside. And so one thing for those of you who don't know, Ohio University is known for being a bit of a party school. It used to be a lot worse. They're kind of starting to change their image. A lot of people, at least if they're from the U.S., and specifically the Eastern U.S., would probably know that, at least if I mentioned like Halloween weekend, or like Halloween weekend is a huge deal at Ohio University. But anyway, a lot of alcohol, a lot of underage drinking. Well, we look out the window and we see this guy, and something isn't right. We're not sure if he's sitting and texting, or he's kind of he's like slumped over on a wall, and he's kind of like his hood's over, and we can't really tell if he's on his phone or not. But it was strange enough that a couple of us decided to kind of investigate. So we peered out the window, kind of like looked out the door, and we're like, dude, that guy's he's out. And we weren't sure if he was out, like if he was on drugs and he OD'd or something, or if it was just he was passed out from alcohol. So we wind up calling the police because there's just this guy who's outside our dorm, and we don't know what's up. And the police come, and fortunately he wasn't in a coma or anything, and he wakes up. And the police kind of question him, and then they lead him away in handcuffs. So we don't know what happened, but that's my story of someone who just passed out on campus right in front of our dorm room. And when you said you almost passed out on campus, I was like, oh no, Red Rabbit's going to get hauled away in handcuffs because he fell asleep outside of his dorm room. So I'm glad that didn't happen. But luckily, that's my story. Man.
Luckily I was able to get back to my dorm. And then instead of going to my 8 a.m. math class, I went to my dorm. No, I went to breakfast. I stared at a bowl of cereal for 20 minutes and didn't eat any of it. I just stared at the bowl of cereal, And then I went back to my dorm, and I was gonna go to math. I got all ready, and I just went to sleep on... No, I didn't sleep. I watched Iron Man.
Oh. That's what you do when you're tired. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know if I went to... I think I had math. I have math and then tech. So, yeah. Then I went to tech because I did present my final project. Yeah.
Gotcha. How'd that go?
It was okay.
Yeah. Kind of okay-ish. Yeah. That's okay, though. That's okay. Hey, you don't need to do well on everything to get through college. You just need to do well on the majority of things. So we're just going to pull up the third chair here on the way out the door, and we'll talk to the audience here for a little bit. So we mentioned this a little bit in the episode, Red, that we're working on better audio. And so I've figured out some things with Audacity to improve the final product. So hopefully those have been apparent in this episode. And then we also got some questions, Red, about how often are we going to upload? So how often do you think we're going to be able to do this?
Either weekly or bi-weekly.
Okay, so weekly or bi-weekly. I think that's totally reasonable. Although, giving editing constraints and stuff.
Yeah.
The basically it's how much am I gonna how much crackling am I gonna have to cut out of the episode? So the more you fidget, the longer in between episode times.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. I need to work on that as well. The other thing, should we look into uploading an audio only form of the podcast, like to SoundCloud, or should we look at iTunes? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, SoundCloud works, iTunes works. I don't actually know how to upload to iTunes, but SoundCloud's pretty easy.
Yeah, I'll have to research that. I'm pretty sure they have to approve it, which means someone would have to sit and listen to us talk about...
Listen to the whole podcast, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who would want to do that. That sounds kind of lame.
Yeah.
But, you never know. Another thing we want to do, so for the podcast version that goes onto YouTube, you might have noticed that we're doing replays, right? And last episode, I just sat down and recorded a bunch of content and played it on silent over the top of our podcast. And I'm going to do the same for this one. But I think it would be cool if we could have some people in our community, if they have a replay that they're particularly, man, I can't say that word. Can you say that word for me, Red Rabbit?
Particularly. That
one. If they're that word proud of it, if they're extra, especially, we'll go with that. If they're especially proud of their replay, it'd be awesome if they could send it in to us, and then we can incorporate it into the episode. So I think this will work, and if not, I'll make an edit in the show notes. But if they send like the link to it, link to the server side replay from I think you can access those on like War Thunder's website, or am I just
you can also okay. You can email the file.
Yeah, so if they just are able to email us the file to tooslow.mailroom@gmail.com, I'll just sit down and open it up and use Shadowplay and record that, and we'll put it in the episode, which is super easy because I can just let Shadowplay run and do other things like laundry or get my utilities transferred to my new apartment, because that's a thing I have to do. Anyway, yeah, adulting is fun. So yeah, we'd love it if people could send in the replays and share things that they're proud of in War Thunder, and we'd be more than happy to put that over our podcast. If people like what they're hearing and want to join Too Slow, what can they do, Red Rabbit?
You can go to the Too Slow Squadron in War Thunder and send an officer a message requesting to join.
Absolutely. You can, if you pull up the Squadron tab on, I think it's under Community. There's like a Community tab on War Thunder. So if you pull that up, and you'll see where the Squadron listings are. You can type Too Slow. That's the number 2 followed by slow, and our Squadron will pull up. And feel free to, if you meet our requirements, feel free to send us an application. Although that, yeah. Red Rabbit, that is also assuming that people who are not in Too Slow are also listening to this podcast, which the chances of that, admittedly, are very low. But hey, you never know. Anything else you'd like to add, Red?
No.
Should we tell people to?
Yikes!
Ouch! Yeah.
Oh, yikes!
I don't. No, we can't. So we're gonna have to cut that out, huh?
You're gonna have to bleep that one.
Great. So you've had your turn being bleeped, and now I get to get bleeped. Not for cursing, but for saying.
Yeah, but because you're bleeping that, and I said yikes, they'll think that you said something really awful.
Which is really funny because
They will
swear,
never.
man.
Yeah,
they'll never
know what you said.
They'll never know. What if my parents listen to this, man?
Yeah,
Mom, Dad, I promise you.
They'd probably sit you down and have the talk.
It's okay. I have the raw audio on Audacity. I can prove it to them. That I didn't
Well, I
swear.
mean, you did say so, like, that's pretty awful.
I know. That's like one of the worst things that we could possibly say.
Now you're going to have to bleep that
audience.
one, too.
So, every time we say the release date of the podcast gets pushed back by about 24 hours. So, yeah. People are going to be... Also, we know the context, but people are going to be really confused because... You know, but I don't think we've earned the right to ask that of people yet.
You can just put it in the description.
Yeah, but I'll censor it.
Just censor it.
Symbols.
Just say, like, content redacted or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's a military game. We can act like things are classified. That's fine. So don't... And on the way out the door, yeah, I'll just make more work for myself, right? So...
Yeah.
So if you've got nothing else to add, and if I've got nothing else to add, why don't we just end it here?